about position, I'll just repeat that very quickly. The symbol of position is x. Okay, and I told you that when we will talk about motion in straight line, generally we will take the reference, the number line here. Hopefully you remember number line, right? It has numbers like this, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the positive side, this is the negative side, and suppose this x is in meter, right? So if some object is here, let's say there is a little ant, okay, suppose you go home and you are observing how some ant is moving. You would have seen often ants move in a straight line. Have you noticed that or not?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. So let's say that you are observing some ant. So this is where the ant was. So you would say that the position of the ant is x equal to plus 2, or simply 2 meter is okay, right? Whether you write plus 2 or 2, it's fine. Is it clear? Why so? Because plus 50 or 50? Plus 50 or 50? Same or not same?
Same.
Same, sure.
Yes.
So that's the reason. Okay, but suppose instead of being here, suppose the ant was here. Then you'd have to write x equal to minus 1 meter. Did you understand?
Yes.
You'd have to write x equal to minus 1 meter. Here this minus cannot be optional. If you remove that, the meaning will change. Is that clear or not clear? The meaning will change. X equal to 1 meter means over here, not over here. Is that okay? Okay or not okay?
Yes.
Right? So you can see position is not just a distance. It's much more than that. Distances don't have directions. Is that clear? Suppose someone would ask you what is the distance between this point and this point. Then that distance does not have direction. You can use a ruler and measure the distance from here to here. Did you get that? Okay. How can you measure distance between 2 points? By using a scale or a ruler, yes or no?
Yes.
And then you don't have to say direction. Correct? Distance does not include direction, but position includes direction. This is essentially the difference between scalar quantities and vector quantities. If you remember, scalars are those quantities that don't have a direction, and vectors are those quantities that have or need a direction. Is that clear? So, if you just say, I just repeat the example that I gave you last time. Is that if you consider his origin and you say to someone that ant is at 1 meter from origin, suppose ant is at 1 meter from origin, then there are two possibilities. Do you realize? It could either be here or it could be here. Clear or not?
Yes.
Everyone got that?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
So to give a proper description, we need to include the sign. So what does this sign indicate? It is indicating the direction, left or right. Is that clear? Everyone. Next week be very clear. આજના લેક્ચરનો એક વર્ડ તમે ચૂકી ગયા તો એ તમને નડશે ફ્યુચર 100% attention over here. कर दो विंडो स्टार्ट कर दो बस અહીંયા ચાલુ કરો સેજ વાર ઊંઘ આવી ગઈ તો પતી ગયું. Is that clear? Physics ગયું તમારું all over, game over. અહીંયા જ પૂરું થઈ જશે. I'm being very clear. This is so important. And like I have mentioned it earlier, all chapters in physics are about motion. So what we are going to learn here, we are going to use every day later on. So please be fully attentive. Alright, so I was saying that x equal to minus 1. Here this minus sign is indicating direction, the left side direction. Is that clear or not clear? Similarly, if you write x equal to 2 only, that means positive. This positive once again it's indicating the direction. Which one? Right side. All this is happening because position is essentially a vector. Position is essentially a vector. You get what I'm saying? Alright, position is a vector. Distance is not a vector. Distance is a scalar, right? Distance between 2 points. That's a scalar. Doesn't have direction. Alright, this is clear. So find whenever you see this plus sign, minus sign, or something like that in position, which is a vector, you please note that the direction is indicated by the sign, plus, minus, whatever. Clear? Yeah, there's an app. Have one with your compulsory. It is very, very useful. Alright. Okay, let's go over to the next. Again, I want all of you to remember what we have learned earlier. It's that everything about motion depends on what? Frame of reference. Do you remember that or not?
Yes.
Everything about motion depends on frame of reference. That is, who is observing and from where. Is that clear? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Next word that we are going to understand. આ બધું હજી 9th નું જ આવે છે. Distance traveled, also called path length. I'm sure all of you have seen that in a scooter or any vehicle, there's a set of numbers which shows how much distance that vehicle has moved. Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. So that is actually indicating the distance traveled by that vehicle so far. It is indicating the distance traveled by that vehicle. Okay? It is called odometer, right? It is called odometer. Right? Now path length. You understand length? I'm sure. Path means what? The track, the way, the track on which something moves. That is called its path. Basically, if you want to use slightly more technical language, it's that the collection of all points through which some object moves. That is called its path. Did you understand?
Yes.
The collection of all points through which some object moves. That's called path. How many points are there? Infinite. I cannot draw them all, so I have drawn some only. Did you understand? So the length of the path. Length of the path. What is that called? Path length. These are synonyms. Synonyms, that is, they mean exactly the same thing always. Clear? So distance traveled by the body and the path length of the body is always the same. Right? So let's understand distance traveled in the case of one-dimensional motion. Now, you might have a question, what's the symbol of this? D. Okay, we will be using distance traveled symbol as D. One more thing. Do you realize that I'm not saying distance, I'm saying distance traveled every time? Am I not feeling lazy today? I'm feeling very lazy. Right? But still I am saying distance traveled. Distance traveled and distance are not same person. Is that clear? If anyone tells you that distance traveled and distance are same, just say, okay, thank you, namaste, avjo, bye bye. Yathi dur. Because if you remain in company of such people, you are not going to understand physics. Is that clear? Distance and distance traveled, they are two completely different things. Alright, they have no relation with what erase each other at all. Right? The names look similar, but the meanings are completely different. Okay, I'll tell you why it's different and everything. Let's see. For example, first of all, we'll calculate or learn how to find out distance traveled when some object is moving on a line. Alright, so our little old faithful ant. Alright? Okay, ant is going to be our friend in this journey of understanding distance traveled and everything further. So let's say here was the ant when you started watching it. Okay, you have just come from school. Okay, and you say, hi ant. Okay, here it is. Then, because ant knows you, so ant fears that now you might smash it, so it starts to run. Okay, back and forth on this line. Okay, so let's say it starts moving from here goes all the way to this point -2 and then comes back to 1 and then rests. Okay, then stays there. Did you understand what ant has done?
Yes.
Sure, the diagram is clear.
Yes.
હવે આ ડાયાગ્રામ વગર એમને એમ બોલી જાવ તો કઈ ખબર પડે નહીં. Important lesson: diagrams are extremely necessary if you want to understand what is going on in physics. So whenever you solve a question, first thing to do is read the question and draw the diagram. Until you draw a proper but a rough diagram, you will not understand anything. એટલે પછી આમ સ્કેલ લઈને આમ સ્ટ્રેટ લાઈન એવું બધું દોરા નહીં બેસાડો. If someone says ant moves from 2 to -2 and then 1, this is enough. Is that clear? You don't need to draw an ant over here. Box does it. Got that? So we should not spend too much time drawing the diagram, but that doesn't mean diagram is useless. In fact, it's quite the opposite. That half of the time when students don't understand what to do with the question, they have not drawn the diagram. So without drawing diagram, you will not be able to imagine how જો તો આમ દેખાય ને આયરોનો meaning સમજ પડે કે ન સમજ પડે?
Yes.
What is the meaning of that? And so goes there and then turns and then goes back. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Ashish, ઊંઘ આવે છે? ઓકે જો એકાદી મોકલું. Okay, here. So first simple question. From moving like this from this to this, how much distance did ant travel? Raise your hand for giving answer. How much distance did ant travel? Raise your hand. ખોટું પડે તો કઈ વાંધો નહીં. મને ખબર જ છે તમને 9th માં કઈ નથી આવડતું. Raise your hand. એટલો બધો ટફ ક્વેશ્ચન છે કે આમાં ન આવડે. અરે આમ કેવું પૂછ્યું છે? If someone goes there and then comes back and is this point, how much distance do I walk? એવું મેં પૂછ્યું તમને. એવું જ પૂછ્યું ને? એનો પૂછ્યું. Yes or no? Yes, somehow, what's your answer?
7.
Louder.
7 meters.
7 meter. Who agrees? Without knowing the answer, how can you agree? હમણાં તો હાથ ઉપર નહોતો. Risha and Rupali ne? What's your name? Riya. Riya. Okay, who disagrees? Yes? 5. Who disagrees further? Any other answer? Not 7, not 5? Yes? Sidharaj? 6. 5, 6, 7. હવે આગળ કોઈને બોલી લગાડવાની છે? 7, 1. 7, 2. કોઈ છે 8 વાળું? Nobody? થાકી જશે ant. તમે એટલે વધારે ને વધારે ગણતા જશો. How much distance will ant travel? Yes, Viral, you have an answer? No? પેલા હાથ આમ હતો, પછી પીછે લઈ દબાવી દીધો. Right, sit down. Everyone, well tried. Again, I'd like to remind everyone, you have to try, you have to have some classroom discussion. ખાલી બેઠા રહેશો તો થોડીક વારમાં એવું લાગશે કે આમાં તો કંઈ ખબર પડતી નથી. અને નહીં જ પડે એ થાય. If you not try to take part, listening to me, listening to others is very important. ખાલી બોર્ડ ઉપર લખેલું ન જોઈને હા થઈ ગયું. It's not like that. Well, let's see. First of all, starting from 2, this ant goes all the way to -2. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, traveling from 2 to -2, how much would that distance be? Traveling from 2 to -2. 4 or 5? 4. Common sense ne? Common sense hai ne? Yes or no?
Yes.
Obviously, I need that 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear? Okay, so 4 till here. Yes or no?
Yes.
And then what next? પછી આમ પાછું જાઓ. 1, 2, 3. Clear? Yes? Sure? Go through that. Got it? So what's this? This is the distance traveled by the ant. Clear or not clear? Okay. Everyone, is this fine? આવી mistake હોય ન થઈ જાય. This is, as many of you agreed, it is common sense. ખાલી counter ત્રણ છે આમાં. Yes or no? Yes or no? એટલે કોઈને એવું થતું હોય આવું બધું આવશે ફિઝિક્સમાં તો કોમર્સમાં જતા ઓકે આવું જ બધું આવશે રાઈટ આઈ એમ બીંગ વેરી ક્લિયર ઓકે કારણ કે પછી તમારે બધું અઘરું શીખવું હોય અમને તો એવું ટેસ્ટમાં કીધું હતું કે ફિઝિક્સમાં તો મેગ્નેટ ને એવું બધું આવે કરંટ ને એવું બધું આવે પણ એ બધું સમજવા માટે પહેલા otherwise you will not understand anything right 11th is the base આખું 12th 11th ઉપર હું તો કહું કે આખું 11th તમને કોઈ ભણાવે ને આખું 12th કોઈ ન ભણાવે તોય તમને આખું 12th આવડે if you have learned everything in 11th properly but if you try to do opposite તો ગમે એવા સર ટીચર હોય 12th માં તમે ગમે કરો 11th માં કંઈ ન આવડતું હોય ને તો 12th માં ખાલી જોવાનું જ આવે કંઈક કરે છે કંઈ ખબર નથી પડતી કંઈક કરે છે બસ ઓકે so I'm being very clear. Whether you want to appear for board exam, this exam, that exam, or any other exam in the world, if you want to learn 12th physics, you will have to understand 11th physics. And get 12th no darek of them six. In 11th we studied this, so this. In 11th we did this. Okay. In 11th we did this. You know that. Okay. If you don't believe me, you are free to ask your seniors. કેટલી વાર અમે 11th ની સ્ટડી 12th નો સમ હોય તો એક લાઈન 12th ની હોય ને બાકીની 5 લાઈન 11th ઓકે is that clear so one big warning જો અત્યાર સુધી તમને એવી ટેવ હોય કે 8th નું તમે 9th માં ભૂલી જાઓ ને 9th નું 10th માં ભૂલી જાઓ તો 11th નું 12th માં ભૂલી જશો તો 12th એ ભૂલી જ જશો word not in physics at least okay so I can't stress it enough how important 11th physics is okay. So distance travel is 7. Let's go another one. Okay, suppose the end doesn't stop there and then it starts moving till here. Up. Okay, then how much would be the distance travel? 9. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you this question. That now we are saying that this is 10+2, that is 9 meters. This 9 meter distance which is traveled is in which direction? In which direction did the ant travel 9 meter? Did the ant travel 9 meter right side? Or did the ant travel 9 meter left side? Who says left side? Raise your hand. Ant traveled 9 meter left side. Raise your hand. Who says it traveled it towards the right side? And others, like navi direction તમે લાવ્યા છો? मार्केट में नया आया है राइट लेफ्ट ने बीजू શું both the direction okay but I hope you realize it's a little bit odd to say that something traveled in both directions now those who said left I'm talking to you right those who said both you are one step ahead right for those who said left are you sure is it okay to say that it traveled 9 meter left side what is meaning of traveling 9 meter left side from here it would travel 9 meter left side so ram no jadre kya yes or no yes or no
Yes.
those who said 9 meter left side I'm talking to you all those who said both it's okay you are at the right others those who said 9 meter left 9 meter left can you know that if I would say that for example I walked in the end of the stage okay and then I go back from here and then I'll stop over here in which direction did I walk હવે કેમ right side go right side સમજ પડી ગઈ it's not towards the left is it clear and in this case it's also not towards the right correct just like when I walk you couldn't say I walk towards right side only or you could say I walk towards left side only clear or not so the lesson learned is path length is a scalar what is it path length is a scalar scalar means what does not have a direction there is no scope of left or right both are wrong Is that clear? There is no scope of left or right. Path length does not have direction. It does not have direction. Did you understand? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
એટલે કોઈ એમ પૂછે this distance is traveled in which direction? તો કઈ કહેવાનું જ નહીં. Because distance traveled does not have a direction. Got it? What's the symbol of distance traveled or path length?
D.
Alright, let's go to the next quantity or the next concept. Displacement. So first of all, we'll understand what is the meaning of this word according to English. Displace. What is the meaning of displace? Displace means change the place. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Displacement no meaning is change. The meaning of displacement is change in position of a body or an object or a particle is called its displacement. Change in position of a body or particle is called its displacement. Now, earlier I have told you change means what? Change means નથી યાદ રહેતું એટલે આ બધું લખવું જ જોઈએ તમારે. Who remembers the meaning of change? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, raise your hand. Right, wrong, don't worry about it. Risha.
Difference.
Difference, only difference, anything more specific?
From one position minus.
Something very specific. I made it clear earlier, I think in one of the classes, that change means this. અંગ્રેજીમાં નહીં, મેથ્સમાં બોલો. Say it in mathematical language.
Delta.
Delta is the symbol of change. Yeah. Whenever we want to write change, we write delta. But what does change mean?
Initial minus final.
Initial minus final. No. Change means final minus initial. Is that okay? Now you cannot afford to forget it, everyone. Lucky no book ma upar. Change. Whenever we talk about change, change is always equal to final minus initial. Change is always equal to final minus initial. Mathematical language. Okay. તો તમને બહુ સિરિયસલી કહું છું, જે તમે ઇંગ્લિશમાં એક પેરેગ્રાફમાં લખી શકો ને એ મેથ્સમાં 3 સિમ્બોલમાં પૂરું થઈ જાય. 3 symbols only. Right? So there are so many such examples. Maths is one of the best languages for physics. Alright? Sit up. Everyone. This is a universal truth. You understand what's meaning of that? This is always true and you would have to remember it. Next time, જેને નહીં આવડે એને લખવું તો પડશે જ ઘણું બધું. Okay? Is that clear? Yeah. One more thing. See, you don't have to do anything extraordinary for learning physics. તમે ખાલી એટલું યાદ રાખો ને હું તમને જે યાદ રાખવાનું કહું તો એ બધું આવડે. To be very frank. Like for example, here you forgot this. હવે થાય કેવું કે displacement is change of something. Just because you don't know change, you will not be able to understand or remember what is displacement properly. But if you know what is meaning of change, તો તમને એવું થશે આ definition is તો અમે એમને એમ લખી નાખો. Right? You don't even have to teach it. Let's see. So do you realize that change, okay, what's the symbol of change? Delta. Like this. Are you okay? Okay, similarly, I have also told you what is meaning of decrease. Decrease is always equal to
Initial minus final.
correct. Decrease is equal to initial minus final. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Sit up. Right, everyone, is that clear? Decrease. I love you, but yeah, you are repeating. Decrease is equal to initial minus final. Okay, similarly, increase is equal to final minus increase. So, in that sense, increase and change indicate the same thing. Is that clear? Increase and change indicate the same thing. So, these are three very useful relations that are true always. Okay, these are three very useful relations. Yeah, so now over to displacement. Right. So what is displacement? Change in the position of a body or some particle is called displacement. So let's say once again that we are talking about ant. Okay, assuming that this line is straight. Left side negative, right side positive. And here we will put meter. For example, these numbers are in meter. So let's say the ant. Okay, first of all, again I want to make it very clear to you. What is the meaning of initial? Initial means at start. And now many of you would suggest that initial means from where we start, but it's not that simple, right? So let me be clear. When we talk about initial in motion, initial typically refers to the point or time from which observer starts observing. Observer starts observing. What does this mean? It's possible that the ant was moving all throughout, right? It was moving, but you were not looking at the ant. You understood what I'm saying? Yes or no?
Yes.
The moment you start observing, that moment is called initiation. Did you get it? Yes or no?
Yes.
When the observer starts observing, that point or that situation, that time is called initiation. Got it? Clear? And what is the meaning of final? What do you think now? What stops? Observe and Georgie બોલતા એ જ મિસ્ટેક નો થાય ને એટલે લખાવ. Observer stops observing and stops moving or not moving એનાથી આપણે કોઈ લેવા દેવા નથી. Initial means when you start observing and final means લખી નાખો. Observer stops observing. Okay, one more thing. Some of you, hopefully you realize the importance of these two sentences. Okay, they are not that tough, but still they can cause confusion, and they will. So be very careful with these sentences. Right? Just like you might have marked these three as important formulas, similarly these are also very important concepts. Is that clear? These are also very important concepts. And to be very frank, see, what happens often I've seen this, is that when students remember the formulas and everything, but physics problems are not just about formulas. You will see that soon. Right? આની પાછળના ચેપ્ટરમાં તો તોય એવું હતું કે ફોર્મ્યુલામાં બધો આન્સર આવતો. But starting from this one, it will be very important to understand other things also. So if you don't remember this, you will make some silly mistake while you are trying to do calculate. Okay, you will take the wrong initial point or you will take the wrong final point or something will mess up. Okay, so be careful with it. I hope you have written it. So it's, in fact, in my opinion, it is even more important than that formula, because that formula anybody can teach you. But these sentences, to understand that initial doesn't mean when object starts moving. No, initial means what? And final means object stops moving. No, observer stops observing. Is that clear? Okay. So let's say that when we start observing, this ant was here. When we start observing, the ant was here. So, do you understand that I should call it xi? X for what? X for position. X for position. Is that clear?
Yes.
What is the symbol of distance traveled?
V.
Is there a symbol for distance?
No.
May change nahi, nahi zarur hai. Is that clear? There is no symbol for distance that we need at the moment. So xi. What is this I for?
Initial.
Now you are learning better. So when we start observing the atmosphere, suppose the ant moves like this and then comes to this point. Okay, did you understand how ant is moving?
Yes.
Okay, so in this diagram, let's mark out the initial and final point. This is the initial point, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, when it comes here, that's it. You get bored, burn or bored doing and that's it. So you stop observing. So this is the final position. Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay, what does ant do after that? We don't care. Is that clear? We observe from this to this. That's it. Now we are bored. We don't want to look at it. Okay, now it may do whatever it wants. We don't care. Fine. Got it? What is exit? Final position. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Acha. How much will be its value?
1.
1. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Sure. Everyone. Everyone gets that? 1.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's introduce formula of displacement. So displacement is change of position, that is final position minus initial position. So delta x, which is displacement. So here is the formula of displacement. Delta x. Why delta x? Change in position. કેવો મસ્ત સિમ્બોલ કઈ યાદ જ ન રાખવું પડે. Change in position. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Is equal to. શું લખ્યું છે?
Minus.
So what should I write? X F minus. Very good. જો ફોર્મ્યુલા તમે બનાવી જાઓ મેનો તો કીધી તમને. Did you realize that?
Yes.
એ જો તમને કહું છું જો તમને આવડે ને તો નવું ઓટોમેટિક ગોટ ઇટ અને જેટલું જૂનું તમે ભૂલતા જાઓ એટલું આગળનું આવડવાનું બંધ. એટલે ચેપ્ટર 2 નહીં આવડે તો 3 નહીં આવડે, 3 નહીં આવડે તો 4, 4 નહીં આવડે તો આગળમાંથી બધું નહીં જ આવડે. Okay, because everything like I said is connected. It's not like first chapter માં poem હતી ને પછી second માં કઈક lesson છે. They don't have any relation. No. Is this formula clear?
Yes.
Displacement. See, you can also write this. I'm giving you two forms, whichever form you like. This is clear. Very good. X2 minus x1. 1 for initial, 2 for final. Okay, 1, 2 is initial final. Got it?
Yes.
Whichever way you like, you can write it. Okay. I personally like this one because I don't like the F and I want to get it. Okay, shall I erase the formula?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, this thing. Yeah, now let's find displacement here. Okay, we have the formula, let's put the value. Therefore, delta x is equal to, what is xf? 1. What is xi? 2. So 1 minus 2, how much? Minus 1 meter in this case. Okay. Clear? Now, this displacement, have a look at it. Is there a minus sign? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? This displacement is towards the left. That's what it means. Okay, this displacement is towards the left side. And how much is the displacement? 1 meter. Displacement value is 1 meter. But what is the direction of that displacement? Left side. That's why I did it. I repeat what I said. Displacement's magnitude or value is 1 meter. Got it? But the direction of this displacement is towards the left side. That is what this minus sign is telling. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how to understand it a little bit more physically? Okay. Putting all the maths aside. So it's basically like listen to this carefully. The ant was here and start when he started observing. and finally the end is here. Yes or no? So compared to the initial position, how much has it got displaced? Displaced means how much shifted. How much did it shift? 1 meter shift. Yes or no?
Yes.
It's like what do you understand what I'm saying? Compared to the initial position, it has shifted 1 meter. Okay, 1 meter shifted, but 1 meter shifted could also be that way. Yes or no? So which way? Right side or left side? That's why minus. Did you understand?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Let's build your concept better. Earlier, in the similar situation, you all did say that the distance traveled would be 5 meters. No. Okay, in this case, can you calculate distance traveled? From 2 to -1, and then from -1 to 1. Can you calculate distance traveled? 5 meters, sure. 3 this way and then 2 that way. Yes or no? Sure.
Yes.
5 meters. Got that? Right? So you can see they are not same. Distance traveled and displacement are not same. Are they always different? No. But often they are different. Okay? Clear? Distance traveled is not same as displacement. Right? They are different things. One more. Suppose instead of this, let's say the ant would have the same initial position, the same final position, but while moving, instead of going only till -1, it would have gone till -2 and then come back to this point. Did you understand what I have shown? In that case, in the blue one, can you tell me what will be the displacement and what will be the distance traveled? Know your symbols, everyone. What will be the displacement and what will be the distance traveled? Pela distance traveled. So, distance traveled. 2 to -2, 4 and then 3. 7, sure?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure, everyone. 4 this way, 3 this way, total 7. Fine. Now distance. Minus? -1.
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Why? Final position 1. Initial position 2. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is going to be -1. Okay? What is your? Did you see something odd? Yes or no? In which case has ant traveled more distance? The blue one, the second one. Yes or no?
Yes.
But the displacement is still the same. The reason is, although the path is different, this is the longer path, that's a shorter path. Understood? But still, the initial position and the final position are same. And because those two are same, that is xf and xi are same, displacement will also be same. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure. So just by looking at displacement, we don't see this. Can you say which has traveled more distance? Without looking at these two. Just look delta x. Say yes or no?
Yes.
So which has traveled more distance? Can you decide? About what I say? Did you understand?
Yes.
Can you comment ready? Let's take 2 examples of it. Again, there is point A, there is point P. Okay, suppose this is let's say at 2, 0. This is at 4. Okay or not okay? So if one particle goes straight like this, another one goes like this and comes back to this point. Did you understand? For both of them, displacement will be same, 2 meters. 4 minus 2. But for the second one, the path length is more. Yes or no?
Yes.
Got it? So please understand this very well. That path length is different, displacement is different. Displacement only depends on two things. Which two? Final position and initial. Got it? On nothing else. On nothing. Clear? Again, unit of displacement meter. Why? Because unit of position is also meter. Another thing, what does the direction indicate? Minus on the left side, plus Right. Exactly. Basically, the direction of displacement is indicated by the sign, plus or minus. That means displacement is a vector. What is it? A vector. What's a vector? Some quantity that has direction. That's called a vector. Displacement has a direction. Right side displacement is not same as left side displacement. They are different things. We have a direction associated or linked to it. Okay. Now, a few simple sentences, but simple, but like power packed sentences. They're so useful. Let's start. All of these are to be remembered, and suppose someone has to write formulas for this chapter, you definitely have to write all these sentences. આજે લખાવું જોઈએ લખવાના નહીં તો બીજી વાર પછી તો પાછું નહીં આવડે તો બે વાર બધું લખો યોર ચોઇસ ઓકે એક વાર વેટ ઉતારશો પાછું કરશો કે એક જ વારમાં કરીને પૂરું કરશો okay it's better to do it one time but do it right so you can also score good marks in exam. Right? Occasionally, everyone will forget something or the other. See, I'm not saying that nobody should forget any formula or any concept. Everyone forgets. Even I can forget. But once you forget it, it means you have to work hard on it. So you take that word positively. Okay, it should not be like you only write half of the things. સર ને ક્યાં ખબર પડે છે સર ને ઘણી બધી ખબર પડે પણ સર હવે માથાકૂટ બધાની સાથે કેટલી વાત કરે બરાબર ને કે નહીં એક વાર કરી માથાકૂટ તમારી સાથે બીજી વાર બીજી વખત પછી તો પાછું નહીં આવડે તમારે લખવાનું છે મારે ક્યાં લખવાનું okay so do it right the first time itself if you have to write everything yeah so here's the same first of all displacement is a vector. I think in 9th standard you might have had some question like write difference between displacement and distance travel. Okay, ત્યારે તો ખબર નહીં શું સમજ પડી હશે સમજ પડી ગઈ but now you will have to understand okay and if you don't you have to ask questions. So displacement is a vector person. That means the sign of displacement indicates what? The direction. Sign of displacement indicates the direction of displacement. Does this sentence make sense to you?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes.
If displacement is positive, it means displacement is towards the right side. If displacement is negative, that would mean it is towards the left side. Okay. Next. Displacement only depends on initial and final position and not on path taken by the object. Okay. Displacement only depends on initial and final positions. Two things, xi and x, and not on path. Very simple question here. Okay, a point my answer there. Can it's okay if you don't write the question. Can displacement be 0? Think about it and I want your answers.
Yes.
Who says yes? Okay, are you ready for hows and whys?
Yes.
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 Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Can it be 0? Why? How can it be 0? If initial and final positions are same, then displacement can be 0. But that basically means is that if the object comes back to its starting position, that is initial position, yes or no? If the object comes back to its initial position, then at that time displacement would become 0. Got it?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. Everyone understood the reason?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So the answer to this question is yes. And when, what's the requirement? Xi is equal to xi. If you want to write it in words, you can do that. See, this is what I was telling you. Maths is such a beautiful language for physics. આ વર્ડ માં લખો તો શું લખવું પડે? આટલું લખો વર્ડ માં શું લખવું પડે? શું લખવું પડે? Initial position is same as final position. Yes, okay, so save ink and save your time and save your effort. Did you understand? Use maths, not English, as far as possible. Clear? Okay. This will happen if xi is equal to x. Okay, next. Then opposite of this. D for what?
Distance traveled.
Distance traveled. Okay, distance traveled or path length. હવે તમને એવું લાગે કે કોણ લખે જો dt લખવાનું or write tl. tl for what? Path. Distance traveled or path length is scalar. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is, it does not have a direct, meaning only. Next. Can d be equal to 0? Yes or no? Who says no? Possible is it? Who says no? Can d be equal to 0? You are saying no, cannot be possible. Who says yes? Okay. चलो पहला no वाला ने नाम समझते हैं. Yes, मंत्र.
Because if distance is not
Distance.
traveled,
हाँ.
if the distance traveled, then say distance is not traveled only, then it would be
હું તો નો કહેતો હતો ને હવે તો શું બોલવા માંડ્યો પાર્ટી પછી નહીં કેટલા પૈસા ખવડાવ્યા
the distance traveled no the distance traveled.
Distance traveled નો કરે તો d equal to 0 કેવું આવે ને distance traveled નો કરે d equal to 0. Yes or no? So which party do you belong to?
Yes.
Yes party? Outside. This is very common in physics. When you try to stand up and explain it to others, તમારા મનમાં લાઈટ થઈ જાય અરે આવું ન આવે. Yes or no? So the correct answer to this question is yes. It can be 0, but that case is very stupid. And that case is when object doesn't move at all. If some object doesn't move at all. For example, since the start of this lecture, okay, I did put the chair over there, fine. Since then, how much distance has been traveled by that chair in our frame of reference? Don't say astronaut sees chair goes in our frame of reference. 0, yes or no?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Everyone got that?
Yes.
Because it hasn't moved. So whenever some object always remains at rest. Rest, समझ पड़े rest?
Yes.
Stationary. Right? Whenever some object always remains stationary, then how much distance will it travel? 0. Got it? So you can say can d be equal to 0? Yes. When if no motion occurs. Write it. If no motion occurs. Understood or not understood? Right? No motion occurs means the object isn't moving at all. Only then d can be 0. In every other case, d will be less than 0, greater than 0. It can be both. Can be both. Can distance traveled be negative? Think about it. Can you travel a negative distance? તમે સ્કૂલ થી ઘરે ચાલીને જાવ તો એવું કહો I walked -1 kilometer and I have come. એવું તો ન કહેવાય ને. Yes or no? લખી નાખો. In every other case, d is greater than 0. But just otherwise, d greater than 0. I hope you have written the first thing. Can d be equal to 0? Yes. If no motion occurs. And then, otherwise, d is greater than 0. Clear? Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Turn it off. There are a couple of more points to talk about.